Hey guys, it's Brent, and I'm making a new video on going out alone because I think it's so important. And I think a lot of you might stay home because you don't have friends right now, or you're new in town, or all your friends have settled down or moved away or have girlfriends, or whatever the deal is. Maybe you're just not social and you don't have any friends in the first place. It's so important to do. I'll tell you that I went out last Friday night, and I do all kinds of interesting things. First of all, I have a mindset where I don't care that I'm out alone. I'm totally cool with it. But if you don't even want to do any inner work, one thing I noticed is that if you walk into a place and you're either standing around or you're sitting at the bar, if you start to get self-conscious, kind of take a deep breath and be okay with being there alone, okay? Because that's kind of the idea, right? You're going to give off some kind of vibe. It's either you're going to give off the I'm self-conscious and are you judging me for being here alone? I hope someone doesn't ask me if I'm here alone, because that's kind of weird and all that stuff that it means. So you want to make sure that you let that go. And I guarantee when you let that go, people will start talking to you automatically. Now, that doesn't mean you shouldn't start talking to people. So the other night, I went, and it was a Friday night, and I sat down at the bar. There was one place at the end of the bar, and there's the two girls sitting to the left. I sat down, and I said, hey, happy Friday. And they said, happy Friday to you. And I said, how's everything? They said, everything's great. And so I stopped talking to them. I ordered my drink. They also ordered some drinks. When the drinks came, I said, cheers. I hope you guys have a great weekend. And they said, oh, we will. And then I ignored them and went back to what I was doing, some texting, okay? So then these two girls walk up behind me, and they have a menu in their hand. Now, they're behind me, right? So I interrupt people's conversations all the time, too, because there's a way to do it, and I'm going to tell you what I did right now. So they're looking at this menu. They have an accent, so I can tell they're like maybe from out of town. This is all the stuff that I notice this is what you'll notice when you're present. So I just turned like this, and I said, have you guys ever eaten here before? That's all I said to them. And they said no, and I said, well, everything on the menu is great, because it is, and I eat there all the time, so it's true. And they said, oh yeah, really? I said, oh, everything. And if you had the sangria, right, because this place is famous for serving, it's a great kind of brew pub, but they also have sangria. And they have this one where they mix it's white wine sangria, and then they add a little red wine into it, and so it's called like a sunrise, I think, or something. It's really cool. Anyway, I said, I suggest the sangria. And then I turned around. And they said, okay, thanks. And I turned around, and I'm, looking at Facebook, and I'm texting some people, and I'm still not talking to the girls on the left, because they don't seem very interesting, frankly. And so I don't feel compelled, like I don't live a life of scarcity, so I don't feel like I absolutely have to talk to every single woman, And for practice, yes, you could. If you're living a life of scarcity right now, you could practice and do that. But from where I'm at, I pick and choose now, okay? That's just where I'm at right now in my life. So these girls finish up on my left, and they move on. And there's like two spots on the left of me. Well, this blonde girl comes and sits down on the last chair, okay? So there's still a spot, an empty chair in between us. And she reaches her hand out like this and says, hey, you're Brent, right? I met you a couple weeks ago. Now, I have no idea who this girl is, but I'm very nice to people. So I said, oh, yeah, good to see you. And she goes, oh, my gosh, what are you doing? I said, I'm just hanging out. She just says, scoot down. So I scoot down, and I turn to the girls behind me, and I say, oh, you guys can have these chairs if you want, because now there's two chairs. And they're like, oh, yeah, totally. So anyway, they sit down. And I just let them do their thing, and I start talking to this girl a little bit. And she goes, oh, I'm just out by myself. Believe it. There are hot girls who go out by themselves. I'm out here by myself, maybe going to meet up with some friends later, don't know. And what I really think happened was she wasn't going to meet up with her friends, because later on in the night when I connected with her friends were nowhere to be found, and she told me that they didn't show up or whatever. So she was probably out alone, trying to make excuses for being out alone. Like, oh, I'm going to meet up with my friends. You've heard me say that before to you, that you could say that, oh, I'm going to hook up with my friends later or whatever, connect with them. Anyway, so she's sitting there, and we're talking, and she goes, oh, I should get your number, because after I eat, I'm going to be out later and so on. And I go, okay. She goes, I'm going to go to the next place, actually, after I eat. So I go, fine, whatever. So she takes out her phone, takes my number. See, I don't even have to offer it anymore, right? Like, in a lot of cases, they'll just ask if you're in the right vibe. So we're just continuing to talk, and then now I'm starting to turn to the right, and it's kind of a push-pull thing, right? Like I'm leaving these girls alone, but then I say, did you guys order? Yeah, we ordered. We ordered that burger. I said, oh, the burger's great. I said, where are you guys from? She said, oh, well, I'm from Germany, or Poland or something, but I live up in LA area, and this is my girlfriend, she's busy. And I go, okay, cool, so you guys know what you're doing? No, not really, this is the only place we know down here. And I said, well, there's lots of places to go. I'm going to be going there later. Let me know if you want to know any names of cool places, and I'll give you some suggestions. And she goes, yeah, we were just at the beach all day, and we're still in our bathing suits, so we're not really ready to go out, so we might go out, but if not, we're going to come back down. I go, oh, well, good for you. Well, I'm open to giving you suggestions anytime. She goes, oh, let me get your number. Right? Again, let me get your number. Takes out her phone, takes my number. No one makes a big deal out of it. And so then both of those, those two girls, they eat and they leave, they hug me, they're like, okay, we'll see you next time, whatever, we're probably going to go back home and change and maybe just chill out tonight. I said, okay, great meeting you. And the girl on my left says, I'm going to the next place, and I let her go, okay, because it's still only about like 9 o'clock in the evening, and I'm meeting more people. So she goes, so both of them have my number, they both leave. And I'm sitting there, and I'm finishing. I had ordered a burger too, so I was finishing my burger, and the bartender's coming up and saying, "Dude, what's up? How do you know all these people?" And I said, "I'm just sitting here at the bar, And the manager came up and introduced herself to me. I see you here a lot, you know everybody. You seem to know everybody. What's your name? Blah blah blah." So this guy comes up and sits next to me, and he says, "I've been watching you from like 4 feet away, and I swore you were going to leave with all 3 of those girls." And I said, well, thanks for the vote of confidence. I said, I was just chatting. It's just the beginning of the night. I'm just kind of having a couple beers. And he said, I'm going to buy you a beer, actually, because I've never seen anything like that. How do you do that? He goes, this guy was a little bit older than me. He has a place on the boardwalk, this huge house. He's very wealthy. Can't get it together, right? Can't figure out the psychology behind what I'm doing. So anyway, we end up hanging out. He buys me some beers. I say, hey, you want to come to the next place with me? Come on, So I take him with me. And meanwhile, the girl from earlier on my left is texting me and saying, where are you at? I told her we're going to this other bar. So she meets up with me there. I take him there. I introduce him to a bunch of my friends, which he loves because he's new in town, and he loves meeting all the friends. The girl says, hey, you want to get out of here? And I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. So we go to this next club, and then we bail and move on. So just letting you guys know, that's how your Friday night can work, going out by yourself on your own. So embrace it, and of course, if you do the inner work we talk about by telling yourself you have a sexy vibe and confident vibe, and you do your story and you visualize going out alone and everyone treating you like I just described and being all cool with it and everything, then that's what will happen to you. So it's even more powerful. So anyway,